into another episode of Restaurant Hoppen. I'm your host, Dan Hoppen, and I gotta be honest, when someone says they're serving Neapolitan-style pizza on a food truck, I'm a little bit skeptical, because when you think Neapolitan-style, you think walking into a restaurant like Dante or Via Farina, you've got that giant wood-fired oven that basically the entire restaurant revolves around, and you just can't have that on a food truck. It's not big enough. But I have been made a believer by my guests today. These are the owners of Terrible Gerald's Pizza. They are cranking out some awesome Neapolitan-style pizza from a food truck, even if it's a little unorthodox. Please welcome my guests today, the owners of Terrible Gerald's Pizza, Adam Flohr and Maggie Sweany. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I am so excited to have you here today. And I love your concept so much. Neapolitan-style pizza off of a food truck. It's unorthodox, but you guys are unorthodox. Really, nothing is normal about you or this concept, and that is what's brilliant about it. And there's a line on your website that I want to read and I want to start with today.
Oh, okay.
It said, our concept is simple, unorthodox Neapolitan-style pizza on wheels. What does that mean? What can people expect when they come to Terrible Gerald's for the first time?
You want to take this one out of her?
I mean, it's just party on wheels, I guess. Everywhere we go, it's could put people in bad moods and into good moods, and it's just been a wild ride. I mean, for the most part, I'm just excited that we're able to do it and get away with it with the health department as far as like ventilation goes.
Yeah, well, but no, I mean, I think what they could expect is, I think a lot of our appeal is that we've kind of maintained this, like, we're a little bit elusive. We use like a cartoon character for a lot of stuff. That's the majority of our branding, which is a lot of fun to work with. And so people see this tiny trailer with this weird cartoon dude on a motorcycle on the side of it, and they're like, what is that? We've had people come up and they're like, we had to find out what you are because it's just weird. And then they find out that we're Neapolitan and they're really taken by the ovens, which I think they're a great product, but I think that's a lot of why Adam chose them, is because they're very striking. So I think for us, what we can do most successfully is have a fast turnaround time for pizzas, make a killer product, and not take anything too seriously.
Yeah, you should have taken that one.
Okay.
You both did great. It is definitely hard to ignore Terrible Gerald's because, yes, you see that trailer, you see the giant cartoon of the guy riding his bike, and you're just like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
But then you stop, and then you see the ovens, and you're just like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And then you get the pizza, and you're just like, oh, yeah, there's something special going on here. So before we even get started, listeners, viewers, however you're consuming this, follow Terrible Gerald's on Instagram and Facebook. You guys do an awesome job of posting not only a weekly schedule, but you usually post the day of, sometimes even the day before, saying, hey, we're going to be out at such and such bar, such and such brewery tonight. Come out and see us. It's really, really easy to keep up with you. I think that's a way that so many food trucks fail, is they don't do a good job of just informing where we're going to be.
Yeah.
You guys do an awesome job.
Pretty religious about it.
It's a good thing to be religious on if you're a food truck.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're only going to be open about less than 16 hours a week, we should probably make sure they know where we are.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. So normally I like to start with the food, but because you guys have such an interesting backstory, I want to go there first.
Sure.
You guys are not like longtime pizza chefs who, trained under, any pizzaiolos or anything like that. How did you get into pizza? How did you catch the pizza bug?
I've just always liked cooking, I guess, and pretty much anyway. The only thing I really haven't gotten into, I guess, is smoking. Baking is fairly new to me, though, and I guess I've always just been fascinated, like, with the style of pizza and the leopardine specifically. I moved to Omaha like 15, 16 years ago, and I remember going to Dante, and it was just taken away by it, just absolutely stunning pizza. And then later on, she was working at Blackstone, and then I eventually ended up working in the sports hall right next to Forno, Dante's sister restaurant. So I got to eat some more of that pizza pretty constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really into that, and he had always done like, we both bartended for years and years, and he got into the kind of craft element of things, and so we had kind of met over the years through that, and he kind of got some notoriety from that, And so he's always had kind of a head for flavor profiles. And he was really talking about Forno when he was working right next door to him. He was really inspired by them. So I guess I shouldn't have been surprised when he wanted to build an oven in the backyard. I don't know why I was like, where is this coming from? But I do think that's a lot of it. So
I guess a lot of it's just getting away with doing it in the first place. We saw this guy on YouTube build an oven for $80 out of just like slabs of concrete.
Really?
Yeah,
80
yeah,
bucks?
Yeah.
that
So
was part of
it's
it.
not the prettiest, and it's pretty far low, and it's really hot, but it will make Neapolitan pizza.
That's how we started.
That's the thing that amazed me so much going back to you guys' social media is like so many people, especially during the pandemic, started playing around with pizza ovens, whether that was a rock box or an uni or whatever in their backyard. Some people even just using their kitchen oven.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, these guys probably, had something similar to that. No,
No.
you have this homemade, just hand fashioned, like you said, it is not a looker,
No
but
shame.
but it
No.
cranked out some very good pizzas. At what point do you move from I am really interested in what Dante and Forno are putting out? I love this pizza. I think it's great because that I can acknowledge that. I love Dante's pizza. At no point did I ever say to myself, I think I can recreate this, or I want to try to recreate this. At what point did you go, you know what? I want to try my hand at this.
I think it was just the getting away with it part, because you can't just put an oven that gets up to 800 degrees anywhere, and usually the ones that look nice cost a lot. And so I guess this was a start, and I I knew I needed to get started with a really good flour. We didn't have that immediately. We were firing pieces with Pillsbury pre-mixed at first. We just wanted to use it, and then started dialing it in, taking it serious. Like I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I know how to cook, but like working with dough is a whole different thing. And I mean, it took me, I don't know, maybe till about a year ago before I even really understood what a spiral mixer was. So we've come a long way from the backyard.
Yeah, in a short span of time too. He's really dialed it in. Adam is somebody that's very much like he's a hobby person. So he'll find something that he wants to learn and he will learn it and he will learn it thoroughly. So like we have saltwater aquariums in our house. Like, we like all of these things. We have a ton of instruments. Like he's musically inclined. He's just a very creative person. And so I think really, for him, it was just like he decided that he wanted to do this. And so he was going to see it through. And here we are, which is wild, So I'm okay tripping over a full size accordion in the basement because maybe someday,
Now that would be an interesting add-on to the truck. You're making pizzas, you got a little accordion on the side.
Oh,
I
man.
mean,
This sounds like a backache.
yes, it definitely does. But so you mentioned like you're watching YouTube videos to create this oven in the backyard. How else are you learning? Because pizza is a science. Like, yes, it is cooking, it's baking, but the dough is a science. Like
Oh, yeah.
your dough goes through a 48-hour ferment. That's not just, oh, I happened to figure this out. That's getting into the the actual background of dough and how things come together. Is it more YouTube videos? Is it talking to people? Is it reading books? How did you start to put together your formulas and your process?
Well, this kind of came up with a recipe, watching someone said he was using quite a bit of yeast, but as far as Neapolitan pizza goes, like it's 4 ingredients. That's all I'm using. I don't use any oil or sugar. I think some people are using malt powder out there. I've seen some of that, but realistically, you don't need any of that because you're firing up at 850. I think we're doing about 830 now.
I think 845
Yeah.
seems to be the key. Yeah.
So you don't really need any of that. So it's pretty simple. It's just really controlling it, and we're learning as it's turning into spring slowly that it's going to be a challenge, and that especially you're in a traveling pizza box that's got 2 ceramic ovens that are pushing 900 degrees with your dough in there. It's going to be an interesting summer. So seeing how we're going to be able to control all that, and I'd say a lot of it's just really controlling your proofing and just get to the end product that looks like that. And I don't really have any secrets other than that. It's just trying to control what you created and make it last throughout your shift.
Yeah. Yeah, been an interesting thing. I mean, already we're, at this point where this was something that we were very prepared for because he very much the guy in the UK, I cannot stress enough. His name is also Adam. And he has Pedlin Pizza as his business. So he watches his videos all the time, and just takes notes. He was taking notes before we even started building the trailer. He was like, okay, so we're going to need cold packs for this. We're going to need XYZ. And so we have those things in place already because he was prepared. So, like yesterday, or the day before Saturday, it was hot during the day, in that trailer with the ovens. And so he's got these little cold packs that he made sure that we had so that he could control the dough because if it overproofs, you can't really use it. And then you're out that many balls of doughs and time, and people are disappointed because, you're done and you have an unusable product, which we've never run into because he's prepared. So
We'll probably be storing some dough in some of our guest coolers when we go to bars.
let us use your
For some of
walk-in.
those longer shifts.
Yeah.
I really don't. For as small as it is in there, I don't really see us being able to do any festivals just yet. But I mean, we just built what we could to get by doing what we wanted to do, and so far, it's happening. But like as far it's pretty mighty for what it is. But I don't see us doing any 8-hour shifts in that trailer.
Maybe not, but you guys have made it work so far. You continue
Yeah.
to figure things out. I have full confidence that you'll continue to do so. So you kind of mentioned you were inspired by Dante Inferno. You're watching this guy in the UK. I'm sure his pizza has a great inspiration on you too, but your pizza is a little bit different. It's not a replica of a Dante. I assume it's not an exact replica of this guy in the UK's pizza.
Oh.
As you're playing around with your ovens and with your recipes, with your resting times, all that, how did you kind of come upon your style of pizza where you knew this right here is a Terrible Gerald's pizza?
What a question.
I was just like, maybe this will work under 850 degrees. Maybe this won't burn.
Yeah.
It was just really just trial and error. Most of the stuff's worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've improved our tools as well. That's been useful. We were using unis before.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like one of the bigger steps from the backyard oven going to the portable ovens was how much firewood costs. I was like, okay, we can use propane tanks. These ovens will heat up in about 20 minutes instead of an hour and a half. I won't have to be lugging firewood around, and then that's when things started to click a little bit more. And I kind of stepped away from it for a couple months, and then stepped back into it, and then just kept working. But now that we're working with it every day, you can really just like see the difference in dough. Even if you're doing the exact same recipe, like it still feels different sometimes. Like you can tell it's not always the same.
Why is that? Is it the weather? Is it? I mean, well, what causes that?
Humidity, weather, water temp when you're mixing it. I try to do everything like exactly the same, pretty religiously. Just the only thing I really ever change is the yeast. I'm pretty sure most restaurants will do that as well, just depending on how cold it is and how hot it is. So less yeast as it gets hotter. And that's about all I change. I really don't. I've been mixing around a couple different flours lately and keeping the recipe the same and just seeing just how they act and how they stretch and the difference in crunch and fluff. It's really just, if we like it, we keep it. If not, we move on. But like the recipe's still the same. It's just the ingredients are different. They're always going to be high quality flour, and they have to be.
Yeah, and we tend to work in tandem because we work together. Occasionally we'll have some people come out and help us if it's a larger event, or if we need a cashier or whatever. But like he'll be the one that's stretching the pizza, topping it, and I'm the one that will be cooking it and seeing it through, trying to get that leoparding, finding out that perfect temperature before I pull it out. Oh my God, is there a hole in it? All of those things. So, we've kind of developed a system where it's like I'll kind of call over to him and be like, okay, this is good. This is looking really good. And he'll notice as he's balling it up, the dough's in a really good place. Still looks great today. You'll hear that so many times. And so we just kind of have that system of communication where it's like, okay, we're both pretty confident that this product that we're going to send out is going to be photo worthy because that's what we want ultimately.
Yeah, every day it's like roll the dice. Like, how's the dough gonna look?
Yeah, sometimes
really
it
is.
feels
It's
that
a living,
way.
breathing thing.
It is. It's real. It's
Yeah.
alive. You know. So
It's not just like going out. I mean, a lot of respect to anyone that's out there, in the restaurant industry, but it's it's
Pizza's
scary
different.
sometimes. It's I guess it's stressful is the right word.
Pizza's different. Yeah, pizza's
making
different.
sure that it's right there, ready for people to eat at 5 o'clock and easy to stretch and looking good. I mean,
Yeah.
and then we have a place to park and we're all ready to go.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how, like, if you're early, you're not early enough. And when you're doing mobile food, it's
Food trucking.
food trucking.
Calls
Yep.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more work, but than I thought. But now that we kind of found out a system how to manage our time, it's starting to come together and get easier. But there's still a lot to learn.
Okay.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about that dough, which on your website you say is a sight into someone's soul.
Yes.
So it's a 48-hour fermentation process.
Mhm.
What does that mean? What does that do for the dough? And how did you experiment and figure out that's the right amount of time to let this dough ferment?
I mean, you can make a good pizza dough in 24 hours. It's just I found that you don't really get as much lepidine or gluten structure or flavor. And that's most important. We want it to look good. We want it to taste good. When people are driving by, we want it to smell amazing. And as we just found that time between 24 and 72 hours seems to just be right for what we're doing and what we want to do, and with the results we've gotten, we've really enjoyed that. And we are doing a cold proof, and there are certain pizzerias. I haven't tried any of this stuff yet. They're doing like 14-hour room temp fermentations, and they're probably controlling the temperature in their building
Yeah.
pretty accurately, and their fridges are all set. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and like what works for me might not work for other people, and if I put stuff in a different fridge at a different temperature, it might not act the same. So it's always different. You can't explain it. You just kind of feel it. You pull out the dough and you see it.
And part of that is just working with it so much. I mean, you said you've been doing this for years and years, just being able to feel that dough and say, is this based
Is
off
it right?
based off this field, is it going to come out the way that I want it to in the end?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 2 more months or 3 more months? It'll be 3 years probably since I've been like mixing up dough, I'd say.
Yeah, I think I went back in the archives and found, before we had formed the LLC, which was in 2022, he had built the first pizza oven in 2021 in the backyard. I have a photo of him just like hunched over
Yeah, I
it,
think it was like July.
like a little caveman.
So that's when I started. That was the first time, making anything like anything bread wise in a mixer that I didn't put in like a machine.
Yeah, yeah. It was cool.
So I jumped right in, I guess.
Okay, now you guys have used this term several times, leoparding. It's an awesome term. It beautifully describes exactly what you're talking about. But I
Yeah.
think for people who aren't pizza nerds, they might be like, what the
is
heck
that?
are they talking about? What's leoparding?
Yeah, well, like I made a fun little like graphic for it.
That was an awesome graphic.
I love the social media. It's like my favorite hobby. But so with that, like, I think a lot of people have this misnomer that they see pizzas like ours, Neapolitan style. Which I mean, already if you know that it's Neapolitan style, you know a little bit about pizza. So you see these pizzas, and some people will say, "Oh, that looks burnt," and
those comments drive me up a wall.
Man, I get it. It's fine. Like I think a lot of hospitality is educating people on the different things that are there, and maybe they won't know that they liked it. So essentially, what we tell people with leoparding is if you see those crispy bubbles, those black dark bubbles on the crust, that means that the dough is happy. We've birthed a successful fermentation, and it's a beautiful pizza. Enjoy.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get some flavor out of that leoparding. It just adds a nice not char to it. It's not char. That's not the word, and that's why we don't use. Yeah, that's why we don't use, like, people ask us if we use cornmeal, and the fact of the matter is it's too bitter when it hits that flame. So we want to be able to have the leoparding come through without the char, that nasty gritty, that's what we avoid. So
yeah, I mean, someone's like, your oven's not clean. It's like, okay. I mean, and I get it. It's not for everyone. And, if someone, like, we also try to be priced accordingly. We want people eating Terrible Gerald's twice a month, not once a year. And
Wow.
and we've seen a lot of return customers, and we enjoy that. We enjoy going to these places and basically having a little family all across town and all these little places, and look forward to
Yeah,
it. And
it's really cool.
build these relationships. And so far, it's working, and we're really enjoying doing it. Like she just left her job the other day, so we were both full time rolling around.
I did.
Wow, congratulations.
I've always bartended. I was at the Underwood, and they are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. They've had that place forever, and they just were so excited for us. And I was like, you guys, we knew this was coming, and they're like, yeah, we did. And so, it's nice though, because I love those people, and we've tried Dundee. We did Dundee last night, and it was wonderful. It's a good
Yeah, who
showing,
knew?
and we just know so many people from bartending for so many years that it's a natural fit. Like, hey, remember us? You want some food at your place? Let's hang out.
We make killer pizza. We
Yeah.
can bring some pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza and drinks go hand in hand. We can work
Exactly.
together. You're a
It-
symbiotic relationship.
It works.
Okay, let's touch on the ovens real quick. So you started with homemade oven.
Yeah.
Then you moved to an uni. Now you're rocking the twin. Is it Gosney or Gosney?
Gosney.
Twin Gosney ovens in the truck. You talked about how they're just aesthetically beautiful, so they draw people in like bugs to a flame. But what about what characteristics do those ovens have that help you create that signature Terrible Gerald's pizza?
Those things are tanks. We were just talking about them last night. I was like, have you had we've been out in some pretty windy environments, and they're just really well insulated. They keep a really good temperature. I think when we launch a pizza, it will go down 10 degrees according to the thermometer on it, and
Oh,
then
wow.
it heats right back up. And it makes it cooks it evenly and consistently. And the best part about those ovens, they make several different kinds. They just released a middle model, but the ovens that we're using, the domes, they have a ability to funnel a chimney out for ventilation, and that's where they just came key into how we're going to go about things, and keep it realistic within our budget to go out and do this. Okay. Once I saw that guy Adam Atkins out in the UK with his van and those two ovens in there, I was like, that's it. This is it. I need to do this. And then it happened. Then we just figured out how we were going to fit a 3-compartment sink, hand washing sink, a fridge, a table, and all these ovens, and and water containers, and a 12x6 trailer. Basically the heaviest trailer that we could pull with our car at the time. So it was a decent amount of planning, and it just all seemed to work out. And then people are catching on, and then you came by, and we were spending a lot of our weekends just answering some emails, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's been great, man. You're a household name, Dan Hoppen. We talk
Yep.
about you all the time. No, I mean you seriously. I don't think you understand how much you help people. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here on this podcast to talk about you guys, not me.
I know,
No,
but still, I mean,
I'm no one.
you're a part of our story though, because honestly, we would. There were some nights when we knew that we put out a good product, but Adam would be texting me because he would be able to go out and do it alone, and text me being like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing, and it's just, it's really easy to get defeated when you're building something. And so it was just really refreshing when everything kind of came together for us.
Well, honestly,
And you're part of that story. So thank you.
honestly, you guys are the perfect example of why I do what I do. And I don't even really know what it is that I do, but there are so many awesome people who have such dedication, such craft, and such love for what they do. And people just need to know about it. And once they taste your pizza, they're going to be a repeat customer because they're like, holy cow, this exists. I need it. But if they don't know about it, they can't know. And they're going to be stuck in Domino's and Pizza Hut and stuff like that. So if we can get those people to just come out and try Terrible Gerald's once, I'm convinced, and I'm convinced you right now, if you're listening or watching this, find these guys, go try one of their pizzas, and you're going to see what we're talking about here. Anyway, there's the promo. Let's tease some taste buds by talking about the type of pizzas that you guys offer, because you run the whole spectrum. You got from the super traditional, you got margarita and pepperoni, to you got dessert pizzas, and you got a crab rangoon pizza. I mean, anything and anything is on the board for you guys. What made you say, like, let's run just all like all courses of the flavor spectrum here?
Well, Dan, when you own your own business, you can do whatever you want. So that's what we're doing. And I think the first one, we've been sober for about 18 months now. Just FYI.
Congratulations.
And we're able to do that probably because of this. But I was pretty hammered in the backyard one day, and I was like, I am going to throw this homemade beef jerky I just made in a coffee grinder, and I'm going to sprinkle it on my pizza with barbecue sauce and throw it in the oven.
What?
And then I found some fried onions, probably expired from last Thanksgiving, and I threw those on top of it, and I just thought it was awesome. She's the only person that doesn't like it.
I don't get it.
So I think that might have been the start of like, okay, this could work. What else will? And, we were just setting up ovens at any bars that would let us.
Yeah.
We're like, see drunk kids coming to your bar with these ovens making pizza.
100%.
And we were functional, but we were getting stuff done, and then. Sorry, I kind of got sidetracked from that.
The different flavors, like the crab rangoon, that was a big one for you.
So we were over at Dundee's place. Our friend Joe Goodman owns it, and he was like, "Hey, you guys interested in doing a pop up here?" And we said yes. And everyone really likes his crab rangoon, so he just brought his crab rangoon and his wife over to the house and his kids, and we had some dough ready, and we just saw if it worked, and it did. We're doing things a little bit differently now. We'd scoop it on there, and now we're putting it in piping bags. It's a lot easier and cleaner, and then people seem to like it. It's easy enough to make and keep available for everybody, and then it's just completely opposite of your just normal cheese and marinara. It's an option that we'll continue to have that will just be different.
Well, that's the thing that I love about Terrible Gerald's is if you're a traditionalist or if you're looking for something that's super off the wall that you're not going to find anywhere else, you serve both those crowds. So, like, I would consider myself somebody more of a traditionalist. Keep things simple. My favorite pizza is a margarita pizza.
Yeah.
You guys' margarita pizza is awesome. I don't know, and I don't want you to tell me because I don't want to, like, lose the secret or anything, but whatever cheese you guys are using, it just melts so well, and it's so creamy and so milky, and it goes with your sauce great. It makes an excellent pizza. But if somebody wants to get wild, they can come get a crab rangoon pizza, or you guys run specials almost every time you go out. Some of the specials you've run in the past, a elote, everything bagel. You've done breakfast pizzas. You had a loaded baked potato pizza that looked pretty killer. So you kind of offer the best of both worlds for people, whatever they want to do. I want to focus a little bit more on those crazy ones. Where do you get the inspiration for those? You mentioned how you came up with the Krabby Gerald, but for some of the other specials that you've done, is it just kind of taking whatever we have and throwing it on a pizza? Is it seeing it somewhere and saying, I bet I can put that on a pizza? How do you come up with these?
I would say it's I can, like you see it if I can get away with it, but I'm just gonna be honest, Dan. I'm kind of a garbage person. I'm not that hard to please. It's like, let's see if it works. I'm not a big fan of like onions and vegetables and all that, as you'll probably see in the menu, but also like as our available space with our one fridge on the trailer, we can't be like doing supreme pizzas, and that's not really Neapolitan. Neither is pepperoni, but everyone needs pepperoni pizza. I kind of got lost again.
Your weird pizza combos, man. Like your elote. I don't even know where these things come from. He just comes to me with them. So
the
I'm like, okay.
Happened when Tim Aids was doing that
Timmy
Media pop up over at Ball Moose, and he said, "Hey, you want to
yeah, wow, that's coming up, huh?"
Yeah, so Tim reached out, and he wanted to do some pizza, and I hadn't ever tried any of his dough or any of that yet. We hadn't really even talked about pizza. We've been friends for years. And he said he was, I think he did a chorizo pineapple chutney pizza. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll do an elote pizza. I've been thinking about doing that. And then we did it. We had a really good time out there. That's when he was still working on it. What I think is, it's not the dough that he's currently using. So it's kind of fun to work with Tim throughout, that to the point of where Hurrdat Media opened. But that's where the elote came in. And then just after that, just just whatever, whatever I see, I kind of get an idea and just roll with it. Sometimes those specials are like created the day of,
It's true.
just winging it. I'm not gonna lie, just some of those specials are just winging it. I'd say 70% of them.
Yeah, that is true, actually.
I think I saw like
Sometimes the best creations come when you just wing it, though.
yeah.
I mean, he always feels like we need to have a special, and I agree with that, and now it's to a point where he's like, well, why not have 4 of them? Let's just have 4 specials. And when they're out, and that's great. And we're just kind of seeing what sticks and what doesn't. And it seems like the weird stuff is sticking. So
Yeah, Cheesy
cool.
does it along that one. I just like grab some cream,
Yeah.
some garlic, mix that sauce up really quick, and then there's a 3 cheese blend on sale that day.
That's
It's no
the
longer on
reality.
sale, but
Yeah,
it's on our menu now. It got my attention. And there it is, and
work with what you
it's
got.
just like a 4 cheese Alfredo pizza. We'll probably put chicken on it. I just don't really want to break the barrier of like $20 pizza. I just really try to avoid that. I want to give everyone good pizza with a decent amount of cheese, a decent amount of toppings, a good crust, just good product, and just
Good price.
good price. And hopefully you'll see it often.
Again, what you're talking about, though, is kind of the beauty of owning your own business is, yeah, you can just throw a pizza at the wall. It can be as off the wall as, you want to make it and see if it sticks. And if customers love it, you can bring it back.
Absolutely.
And if they don't, then at the end of the night, you say, okay, that we tried that. It didn't work. That idea goes in the trash. And that's perfectly fine. What are 1 or 2 of your favorite specials that you've come up with?
Oh.
Either personal favorites or ones where you're just kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then it just sells like hotcakes.
All of them I thought were just ridiculous. Honestly, he's like crab rangoon pizza, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? And then the rodeo clown with the jerky, and then I've been wrong about all of them, to be honest. He's onto something. I don't know.
I'm really liking that buffalo one.
Oh, I need to try that.
I'm really liking that one so far. People are as well. Like I don't understand why. I'm just making food that I like, and I'm using good ingredients. There's not much more I could say about that. Like I try to control the dough the best I can. She cooks them really good. She's killing it over there. She was cooking.
Hot.
She was running both ovens.
Maggie
and
knows what she's doing.
I'm trying.
She was ringing 2 people up, manning the oven, or she was ringing someone up and then cooking 2 pizzas at the same time. I'm over there stretching. It's like
it's an interactive experience.
jaw
So
dropped.
Sometimes I'll hand them the computer and be like, "You look like you know what you're doing. Just
don't
lead me the wrong way. If it's on you, if the order is wrong." But no, it's
not always pretty, but we get it done.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So we're just used to working with just us. So
yeah, the trailers basically just are folding tables with a fridge
and
instead of a sink and better ovens. It's really just a pop-up. And
that's kind of how we decided to run it anyway. It's just like keep it simple. Always keep it simple. If you can keep it simple, it'll succeed. If you make it more complicated, it's just going to make things harder.
And I think honestly that applies to your pizzas too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because as wacky as some of these are, one of the things that I love, about your pizzas is they're usually 4 to 5 toppings max. Like I see so many pizza places now that are just like loading pizzas with so many toppings, so much weird stuff. And I'm just like, that's weighing down the dough. That's covering up the flavor of the sauce, covering up the flavor of the cheese. Like maybe that's what a pizza is supposed to be for some people. For me, that's not what I like to see. Is that a strategy that you guys have? Do you purposely limit yourself on the number of toppings you're putting on something?
I try to actually top probably more than most Neapolitans, I'd say. But I'm not trying to go crazy. The one that speaks to mind, like you were working, I was by myself that day. I was making a Reuben pizza for St. Patrick's Day. I did not try it. I sous vide some, corned beef, and then basically finished it off in the oven. So it was all pre-cooked. And I grated some Swiss and had some Thousand Island. I didn't even make my own and just threw it on there, and it was gigantic. I was told it was great. I'm just not into that, and that was impressive. the amount of stuff that you can pile on Neapolitan dough is pretty wild.
It's gotta. I think his thing is he likes to kind of test the threshold of how much the dough can handle, and in turn how much like I can handle, what peel I have to use that day. And like I remember when we did that loaded baked potato pizza, it was like we were still using the unis, and we had the big flat peels that everybody has at home. Because the circle peels, you're just gonna tear it apart.
You can't really use a turning peel.
Yeah. So I'm like, trying to shove this peel underneath this, and it weighs. I mean, I'm lifting this peel with both hands when I take the pizza out because there's giant chunks of potato on it because he's just boiled them and cubed them and said, put them on the pizza. Go do it, get it done, and it works. And I think for our purposes, the products that we're keeping, we want to make sure that we can cross utilize it and minimize the amount of space and waste that we're going to have. So you're not going to see all of those 9 million different ingredients because we don't have the storage and we don't want to throw anything away. So if we're going to have pepperoni on one thing, why not add Calabrian peppers to it on another menu item? If we're going to have green onions for the crab rangoon, it's going to go in the mix, and we'll use it for the buffalo chicken pizza too. I mean, it's
Smart
just
cross-utilization, yeah.
Well, I mean, you're going to save money that way, and you're not going to throw stuff away. So, and again, we like have a shoebox that has wheels on it that we drive around. So,
I'm going to take you guys back though, before we even got the shoebox on wheels.
Yeah.
To your very first pop-up.
Oh my.
April 3rd of 2022 at the Galley.
What a day.
I found a social media post. You called it our first horrific pop-up. You sold out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about that day? When I bring that up, obviously there are some emotions here. What's coming to mind right now?
Kessler whiskey? No, yeah, no, that's true actually. Yeah, I'll say that. No, I mean it was a lot.
What
happened?
It was a flash flood that we disconnected the phone. We had the unis in the Galley, were rocking those under their hood, and then Shannon and Chris, our friends, owned that at the time, and they allowed us to come do a pop up there, which is awesome. So
just full confidence in us,
and
bad idea.
And our buddy Joe, Real Life Gerald's dad, was helping us cook at the time, so we just had these two ovens. I did not have the dough proofed well enough at all. It was cold. It was hard to stretch. We had 63 pizzas ordered in 22 minutes, and we just took off the phone. There's people waiting around for like 2 hours.
They were happy. I talk about Pat all the time. Pat's still waiting for his pizza.
Yeah. Our buddy Pat never got a pizza. Our other friend Pat waited like an hour and a half.
Hi, Pat.
A lot of nice things were said to us. It was just chaos, and
it was absolutely the epitome of like sink or swim, crash and burn, or still do that, but try to pick yourself up from it. And we can do high stress. We've done that many a time. We've worked in hospitality for a long time, but never anything quite like that.
Yeah, I'm 38 and I've been in the industry since I was about 15. And we just got rained on, and my head was just down. I was just trying to stretch to keep up.
We didn't have tickets. We didn't have guest checks.
They're all handwritten tickets.
On printer paper, so they flew off. Tickets were just gone.
We got it done. It was just very
long,
high stress environment and long
and painful. But yeah, so we decided to keep doing it because that was fun, right?
Yeah, let's do it again.
Let's keep doing it. In fact, we have these ovens.
Because at the time we were doing the backyard pizzas, and our friends were telling us like, "Hey, these are good." And then we got a hold of our friend Matt Bradford, and because he had connections to Dandelion, and so we got set up with the Dandelion, and so
Dandelion pop up down on 13th and Howard.
Yeah.
So we had to do some training, and that was some pretty good training. And then we did another one over with our friend Chris over at Maloney's off 72nd, and we did that, and we brought our friend Dave Kenny in, and had him help us cook the pizzas through that, and
he was awesome.
Bring some of his kitchen experience in there, and
it's just food, man. That's what he would say to Adam. It's just food.
And we got through that, and then we had Kenny go over to the Dandelion, and I think we pumped out 89 pizzas. I have no idea how we did that.
It was a lot. It was really hot that day, but he was right. It's just food, and that was something that that's still something that we say to ourselves, like it's really easy to get caught up in things and just remind yourself it's just food. It's okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I just kept doing it. I guess like there was some sort of demand if we showed up and started making pizzas, people would buy them, and it was enough money to
Do something.
do something,
Yeah.
and like upgrade. We ended up buying 2 unis, and
Yeah.
from there just kept going with it, like upgrading our tools or our peels.
Yeah.
Then to the point of where we're basically using small single pizza professional ovens in a trailer, and it's working. It's I don't know, it's some spectacle, something we just pulled off. Every day we go out there, it's just, I can't believe we're doing this. It's wild. It's like we are surviving solely off of just selling pizza and pizza only. We don't have anything else to offer. And you said dessert pizza earlier. We had to take that off the menu just to make more room for cheese and other stuff.
Oh, really?
Cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
We roll with a lot of cheese.
We'll be back.
As you should.
We'll be back. We were asked about a brunch pop up, and we have a couple other ideas, and then
Yeah.
we were approached by someone that he's probably already gotten hold of you, but we have some stuff with other people we're looking forward to doing, and it's like working with other restaurants. It's not about the money. We just want to have some fun. I just like give experience to other people working with these other restaurants, and see what kind of pizzas we can come up with. And I mean, we can bring it's pretty easy. We can bring our trailer to you and do some stuff there.
Now let's talk about that trailer, because it's one thing to buy a couple ovens and lug them around to different bars and to Dandelion and to pop up and do stuff like that. But when you buy a trailer, like that's some serious investment. That's some serious capital right there. Like you are committed at that point. What was it that pushed you guys over the barrier to be like, okay, let's do this for real. Let's get a food trailer.
Well, Roger.
And this is August of 2023. That's when you purchased the trailer.
Yeah. All this is possible because of my buddy Roger, our good friend Roger.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Roger.
Yeah.
You're doing God's work, buddy.
So our buddy Roger, he just has a solution for everything, and he helped me fix a couple things when we were doing some pizza down at Maloney's in Council Bluffs for a little bit. And one day he's just like, let's just build you a trailer. I was like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, let's build you a trailer. Because I've seen him do some things that are pretty incredible, like fix a hood.
Anything.
And I was like, okay, well, let's do it. And we started crunching numbers and figured out about how much it would cost to do, how we were gonna get the ovens in there. First thing I did was call the health department, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I just want to have these 2 ovens. Can I do this without a hood? And he's like, yeah, you just can't go to Lincoln or Grand Island. I was like, great, we don't need that. Let's, we're happy just to be able to do it. And so after that, and then, I talked to him again. I was like, are you sure we can still do this? Because I'm about to spend all this money, I'm like, he asked for a little help. And he's like, yeah, so we got to work. And at first Roger hands me a Sawzall, and he's looking at the trailer, and he's like, do you want to cut the hole for the window? And I was like, no. So we started doing that, and it was pretty nerve-wracking. Like we just have a bare trailer. It was like, well, we got it brand new, but it was still like $5,000 trailer, and we're just putting a big hole in the side of it. Like, who knows if we don't get this window done tonight, if it's going to rain or...
Yeah, what do you do then?
So after several trips to, hardware stores that day, we got the window in, and then we started putting the walls in, and it started coming together, and we cut out that little corner piece he cut out that little corner piece to put in for the ovens. And, I wouldn't know how to cut something like that. I was just sitting there and trying to figure out what tool to hand him when he needed it and help. So, I mean, this is all possible because of our buddy Roger. And
I think, I don't know.
We just worked on it when we could, and we got stuff done. And still, he's waiting for us to figure out how to improve it every day. It was just what else can we do to make this better?
Yeah, it's been really cool. I mean, I think once Adam and Roger just kind of had that clicking moment, I think that was around when we had decided to Site One was gracious enough to put us into their kitchen.
Yeah, that's another very big. Those guys
And they were just wonderful to us. They said, you know, we had done a pop-up there after we did the bull moose with Timmy Maids from Dolomiti. And you know, we had done another pop-up at Site One after that. And Adam just kind of jokingly like looks at the empty kitchen and he's like, hey, I think my mixer would look pretty nice over there, don't you? And I was like, Adam, stop it. And they were like, yeah, it would. You want to move your stuff in? And it was our friend Addie, who I've known for a long time, who was managing it then. And she's like, yeah, you know what? Absolutely. Like, we like you guys. You put out a good product. We believe in you. So sure, why not? And it has been wonderful. And I think around that time, you know, because we were able to have that, because again, they were generous enough to facilitate that for us. I think that was when it was like, okay, now it's time to make a move. If we're going to do this, let's actually do it.
Yeah, we had the tools. It just kind of all fell into place. Roger and
Yeah.
Site One, you know, let us use that kitchen. And
yeah, it was just everything for Terrible Gerald's, honestly, has been this remarkable kind of the universe just being like, hey, go do it. Let's do it. It's time. You know what I mean? It's just it's been really cool. Everything has come together.
yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling.
It's
like, hey, we're just gonna load up this trailer and this is how we live.
It's just this weird
We're just
destiny.
we're just gonna go hopefully find a parking spot that we want.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Hopefully we remembered everything. Like remembered like gas, propane to fill the water tanks.
Did we bring the tools? Do we have pizza cutters? You know, but I mean,
have enough boxes.
There's all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think his ultimate decision at the end of the day was all of these things fell into place. And this has always been, you know, his thing. He's worked really hard at it. And I've done the social media and I've done all of the voicing for, you know, that and the writing. And he said he wanted to do it. And I said, I support you and I'm here and let's get it done. And so here we are.
Maggie, I want to talk to you about the social media.
Oh no, what did I do?
No, it's great.
Thank you.
I absolutely it was a pleasure going back through all your Instagram posts, because you have so much personality.
Thank you.
And you let that come through in the social media. Like, you call your followers nerds. You call your truck the dojo.
That's him. That's all him. I love it.
That's great. You had one line that it was a post where you were like posting your weekly schedule and you said, we found Carmen Sandiego, still working on Waldo, but at least we know where you will find Gerald's this week. Like, just stuff like that is just so playful and so fun. How did you decide on like what the voice for Gerald's social media was going to be, or is that just you?
A lot of it's just me, you know, and actually all of it's just me. But Gerald's fun because, you know, we had come to our artist, Nathan Gernon, who has Satisfaction Not Guaranteed as his brand. And he's just this really cool dude. You'd always catch him, you know, doodling on napkins or whatever. And we had decided to name the business Terrible Gerald's. After there is a real Gerald, he's starting to look like Gerald as he eats more of our pizza. I'm just kidding.
We love you, Gerald.
But anyway, so, you know, we had this Gerald designed. We had said, okay, send us this, you know, we want a redheaded kid eating pizza. He can be gross. I want Garbage Pail Kid. Give me Garbage Pail Kid. And so he, you know, he created this awful Gerald.
He came through with it, yeah.
And
it's on a Post-it note.
Yeah, and I actually have the original Post-it note. Our buddy Matt Linder made the Geralds. And it just turned into one of those things where it was like, okay, we have this character. He's fun. I can put him anywhere that I want. You know, I can send Gernon a message and say, hey, can you make me Gerald sitting on top of the universe eating a piece of pizza? And he's like, bam, done. So it just seemed to make sense to be able to have this character that I could dress up like a little paper doll, you know, and do whatever I want with. And he's just kind of this enigma. He's Gerald. Where's Gerald? Gerald's the guy on the motorcycle on the side of the trailer, but where's he going? Let's find out. What is that? Let's Google it. You know, I really wanted that kind of thing for the socials, and I wanted intelligent writing. I don't just want pictures of the same pizza over and over again. That has its place, but why not stick out as a brand?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the trailer itself. Like we talked about, when you see it, you are compelled to stop. Same with social media. I mean, you get, I think it's less than 3 seconds of someone's attention on, well, not just social media, just on anything. So if somebody's just scrolling,
make it count.
I see so many accounts so many restaurant accounts just post the same pictures, or they'll say, "Oh, hey, it's Thursday. Come out and have pizza," or whatever.
Right.
And it's kind of the same thing over and over again. I just scroll right past it.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Terrible Gerald's is always going to be something interesting. It's
I'm
going to
there. You're going to read it.
It's going to be a crab rangoon pizza, or it's
Yeah.
going to be Gerald at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, you
It's
just
going to be
never know.
something weird and wacky, but it's going to catch my attention.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty big
it's
fan of
fun.
this week's one, going out west.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
I saw that
For the-
today.
Yeah, I just, I
For
mean,
the desert.
a lot of it is just kind of, I don't know. I'm insane. So I just kind of roll with what's in my brain that day,
She's like, "Am I crazy to post this?" I was like, "No, that's really,
And-
really awesome."
And look, I think I'm going to start including the temperature of each day on the schedule, so that like Jim Flowers doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting. Like Rusty Lord can take a day off. The meteorologists don't have to tell the temperature all the time. I'll put it on our schedule.
How thoughtful of you.
I do my best. No, it's been fun.
Okay, so we talked about, how important it was to get this trailer established. First day with the trailer, like the grand opening of it, November 16th, 2023. So I'm going to ask you to open up your memory banks again.
Yeah,
What do you remember? Where was this? Where did you pop up, and what do you remember about that day?
that was site one, right?
Yeah, that was site one.
Yeah.
We had done a soft opening with the trailer before that, and then we had like a trivia that was booked that we didn't want to advertise our grand opening.
Yeah,
So we had a couple days of practice
yeah.
with that before then, and then we had pumped out a bunch of pizzas with Tim and Roberto for a private party in that trailer as well. So
Yeah.
we had a little bit of practice.
Yeah. And then we just kind of ended up
Uh,
at site one. I think it was a Friday.
Yeah, we did the Friday, and they had a band wood hoops. That was awesome. A lot of that stuff was just trying to remember everything, like everything. There's so many things that you need to figure out with a food truck. I mean, it is a lot of work, but if you figure out how to manage your time, it's not that difficult.
Do we have XYZ,
Yeah, well, like we just had our health inspection. We didn't have hot water because the ovens weren't on, and when the ovens are on, the propane tanks are on, which is also, we have a propane water heater. So
Little things.
just things like that. I was like, oh, yeah, it's because we're
Yeah.
not getting any gas. It's like, sorry, I'm not lying to you.
Yeah,
The water
I
heater worked
mean,
yesterday.
And that first grand opening was great. It was a lot of people that have supported us for a lot of years.
Yeah, it's nice to
know.
see everyone come.
Friends,
Come out.
family, and then some people that were just like, oh, I've heard about these guys, and it was just a really cool. It was cool. It
Yeah,
was fun.
it's just good to
was
go
real.
out instead of just being like,
Yeah.
hey, like we're out.
We're in Joe
we're-
Goodman's kitchen.
Yeah, we're like, hey, it's been like 2 months. We're gonna be out. This one day.
yeah,
So it's nice to be out and be able to go out everywhere and just set up. It's still more work than like setting up the tents and all that, but it's
debatable. At least we have a shelter.
yeah, we can do a lot of things with it.
Yeah,
You have a space of your own.
we do. We do. Yeah, it's in comparison though that actual first day in the trailer compared to the first pop-up ever. I mean, obviously, just night and day.
Yeah, I mean, and she was we're like those unis were so small. It's like doing surgery. You can't see the back of the pizza. You got to pull it out and look and make sure, like check on your bake.
Yeah.
And now these guys in these fantastic ovens again. Like you can see like the pizza's cooking. And now now I've gotten plenty faster, and she's gotten better at being able to handle cooking 2 pizzas at once and taking orders. And
very intimidating.
so
at
first, like I wasn't trying to launch too many, but I had a little bit more space compared to our pop-ups in the trailer.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
to like make 2 pizzas at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's I guess really adapting and seeing what we were able to do with 2 or 3 people, because that's about it. I mean, they're like our limit may be like 100 pizzas like a day out to the public. Like I don't think I can pack much more than that in the trailer.
Mm-hmm. And I want to touch on that because something that a lot of chefs and cooks talk about is like establishing that dance, that chemistry in the kitchen where, it would be very easy, especially during busy times, to just be crashing into one another.
Yeah.
You're trying to get stuff, but once you've worked with somebody for a while, you kind of know where they're going to be. You
Totally.
almost maneuver around each
real,
other
yeah.
like muscle memory. When you guys have this tiny little space, I mean, even when you say fitting 3 people on there, I don't know how you would do that. I'm sure it can happen because you said it did, but like, how did you guys kind of establish the dance in the trailer and figure out, here's, our roles, how we're going to make this work?
I don't know.
So usually, so both those ovens are run at a different temperature. So I guess I'll just start here. Like, so we'll have a preferred launch area. So like the left ovens, right about the prime temperature, we'll launch in that one, and Maggie will stand in the way of the other one, opening the way for me to launch because there isn't much room other than that.
Yeah.
And usually I'll just be like behind on your left or your right, launching the side or right, and then
stuff like that.
But we can see each other for the most part.
I don't know. I think we also just know each other really well. I mean, we've been together for I think it'll be 6 years in June.
Yeah.
And so it's like we don't spend, this is so weird, but like we spend a lot of time together. We always have just like right out the gate. So like it's kind of one of those weird anticipatory things where I'm like, oh, like I can sense his creepy little presence, and I'm like, oh, there's a goblin behind me, and I just like we just know each other well enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
The third person, we've worked with people in there that have worked in kitchens and that haven't, and we've had like a person in there that we couldn't really work around too hard, and then we get a person that just kind of sit in the back and take orders and help us top pizzas. It's really just like a little bit of relief from us being able to
yeah, and I mean we haven't
to multitask while we're already like cooking and stretching
in the weeds. Yeah. I mean it's nice to have another person there, and like usually it's we have a rotating cast of co-stars, but I mean, like you can't be above 6'1", and because you don't fit in the trailer physically.
I would have a hard time.
We're gonna have to build you a bigger boat.
Yeah, before you start working for us, we'll have to build a new trailer. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. So like, there's obviously not a lot of room, but the people that do work with us have worked in kitchens, so they just know where they need to be, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now I just call it controlled chaos because we can do 60 pizzas pretty easy, especially if we have someone taking orders. But back then it was just like it was very overwhelming. And I mean, I've been in the service industry for about 20 years, probably a little bit more. And I mean, that was, you experience a lot of things, and that was just kind of unreal, and still is. It's crazy that,
yeah, man,
people eat my food.
I know. I feel like, when I used to work for a Chef Deke on Jackson Street Tavern before he sold it. And we would fight all the time. And he would be like, well, Margaret, someday when you own your own restaurant, you can do whatever you want. So now I'm like, oh my God, we can do that? That is so cool.
Well, that just made me think of the Szechuan, the beef Szechuan pizza, the Doritos on it.
Oh yeah, he did do that. Yeah.
Good Lord, man.
No, I know.
You are wild.
I was lazy that time. We had our buddy Zach Johnson, and he's over at Corkscrew, or is it
Corkscrew?
Yeah, he's over at Corkscrew now, and he'd worked with like Koji and Yoshitomo a little bit. It's like, hey, like I trust that you'll show up to this date we need you and make some pizzas with us. But if like you wanna make like a pizza, go for it. And he's like, oh, I want to do like some Szechuan. So
cool,
like we did Szechuan beef. I was like, yeah, so these these Thai chili Doritos just came out. They're pretty good. So like let's put them on top of that. And then we did that. Then we did that elote pizza, and I was like, I want to put Takis in this, but I don't want people to know there's Takis in it. So I just blended it into the sauce, which turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just going off track again.
It's okay.
You're fine. Okay, so we've done a lot of looking back at where Terrible Gerald's has come from, and this seems like kind of a crazy question because it's still such a young concept, but you guys have come a long way in a short amount of time. I mean, just a couple of years ago, you're building an oven in your backyard, and then you're buying ovens and popping up places. Then you're building your own trailer and going on the road and selling out. When you look at the future of Terrible Gerald's, what do you see?
Couple of more square feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe a 16-inch trailer.
We need a bigger boat, man.
A bigger fridge that we can put like dough trays in.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we have talked about the future and what we're going to do. And I think there are a lot of possibilities. I think we've built a good brand. I think we have a good idea of what we're doing. And so really the sky is kind of the limit on that. But for now, I think the idea is to just keep pushing, keep building a name, keep putting out a good product.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not trying to go too crazy. we don't want to have 20 staff members to worry about. We kind of just like doing our thing, and it's already enough work as it is. And
keep it small, keep it simple for now. If it doesn't fit, don't force it. Just
we're okay where we're at. We don't want to like sacrifice any quality or anything like that either.
Keep it right in the way if it's worked out for us so far, right?
Yeah. As long as there's places to park, people want to go there, and it's usually pretty easy to find a place to park lately. If not, like
So to not answer your question, Dan Hoppen, we say the sky is the limit.
Well, no, I love.
No, I know we're trying to be elusive. I don't know. We really don't know though. We'll see what happens.
I mean,
it's crazy.
You guys just kind of roll with the punches.
That's exactly it.
And I love that. And it's working for you.
Right. So I'm like, well, we'll see what happens. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, like we don't want to go crazy with it. I mean, I couldn't like I want it to be a little bit bigger, but not too much.
Yeah.
Like it would be nice to be open like 5 days a week and have more of like kind of like what Brett over at Izzy's is doing right now.
Yeah.
And I sometimes you just need your own space, and maybe having a storefront with and then being able to take the trailer out and go do other things. It might be in the future. And
we've been kicking around some stuff. We'll see what happens.
Well, I would encourage you guys, just keep doing what you're doing. If opportunities come your way, look at them. But I mean, what you're doing is clearly working. You've sold out a couple times in the last couple of weeks. I mean, you're just, people are starting, like they're catching the Terrible Gerald's bug, and it is, I mean, it's a wildfire. I think it has a chance to be something really, really big. The product is there. People, I guarantee you go try this pizza, you're not going to sleep on Terrible Gerald's anymore. It is a fantastic product. I've become a huge fan. I want you to become fans too. Adam and Maggie, thank you so much for coming on the show today and spending a little time talking about pizza and this journey that you guys are on. I'm in awe of what you've created. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for having us.
Omaha, as always, thanks for reading with us.